this vegetable, which is called a squash. It's very hard on the outside, and on the inside it's orange. And if you take out the seeds and chop it up and cook it, that tastes yummy too. And then I think I'll have some fruit salad. Perfect. Now it's time for Jackanory Jr.
This is Jackanory Jr. Hello, I'm Nadine, and this is the story of Jack and the Beanstalk. Once, there was a boy called Jack. He was brave and cheerful, but he was dreadfully spoilt because his mother was a widow and he was her only child. Alas, she exclaimed one day, "Jack, my poor boy, look here." She opened the food cupboard and the startled Jack saw that it was empty. "I must sell the cow," she sobbed. "She's a faithful animal, but we can't starve." Jack walked off with the cow. Presently, he saw a man coming towards him. "That's a fine cow," he said. "She's for sale," said Jack. "How much?" £20. It was a lot of money in those days. £20, and I dare say she's worth every penny, but I'll do better than that. He emptied his purse into Jack's hand. "Beans?" he exclaimed in disgust. "Magic beans," said the stranger. "I wouldn't part with them for anything, except I like the look of you. Scatter them, and they'll make your fortune." Jack ran home feeling excited. He shouted for his mother. "Look what I've got!" She turned pale. "What have you done? Is that all you got for my precious cow?" "But they're magic beans, Mother." "Magic? You fool!" She slapped the beans out of his hand, scattering them over the garden. When Jack woke the next morning, his tiny room was still dark. He ran to the window. A mat of green leaves covered the glass. He dashed outside and saw a gigantic bean plant. It climbed up like a ladder into the sky. His mother looked out. "What's this, Jack? What are you doing?" "Those beans were magic after all. I'm going to seek my fortune." "No! Come back at once." "I will, with a bag full of gold." She couldn't stop him. Foot after foot. Soon he was out of sight. Jack climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed. At last he reached the top and stepped into a bleak, barren land. Nothing but dry earth and stones. He sat down on a boulder full of gloom. What fortune could there be in this dismal place? Then he saw an aged crone. That's an old lady, hobbling towards him. She called out, "Jack, I've been waiting for you. Do you know what happened to your father?" "He died when I was a baby," said Jack, tears springing to his eyes. "He was killed, Jack, by a giant who stole everything he owned. That monster built himself a castle and filled it with your father's treasures." "Where is he?" cried Jack furiously. "Find him before he finds you." With these cautionary words, the old woman vanished. As Jack stared around, he noticed huge footprints in the earth. He followed them with a beating heart. At last, a grim castle loomed in the distance. A woman sat outside, fanning herself. As he approached, she shouted, "Go away, boy! My husband will be home directly." "Oh, please, won't you give me a drink? I'm so thirsty." "Hurry then. If he catches you, he'll gobble you up." She led him inside. As the castle door slammed behind them, Jack's heart turned cold with dread. A cauldron bubbled on the kitchen fire, but the woman gave him milk and cake. He had just finished when a tremendous voice boomed at the castle gate. "Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. The outside door crashed open. Quick! Hissed the woman in a panic. Next instant, the floor shuddered under a mighty tread. The giant roared. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread. Jack hid behind a door, trembling all over. He peeped through the crack between the hinges. He saw a huge and hideous giant lurch into the table. What's the supper, wife? Shall I fetch it from here? No, here you are. She ladled his helping out of the cauldron. It was so heavy she had to carry it with both hands. When the giant had eaten the stew and drunk a whole barrel of wine, he seemed contented. He settled back in his chair. Wife, he rumbled in a voice like thunder, before you go to bed, get me my hen. The wife ran off and came back with a basket. A hen sat inside. Lay, growled the giant. Jack watched in amazement. Every time the giant said lay, the hen laid an egg of solid gold. Here was treasure. Now the giant was getting sleepy. His head began to nod. Jack opened the door a fraction. The giant never moved. Jack slipped quietly to the ground. The giant started to snore. Jack stole to the table. He lifted the basket carefully. And then he sped away. Jack dashed to the castle door. Alas, it was bolted and barred, and he couldn't open it. But he spied a little window, unfastened. He crept through and pulled the basket after him. Then he was off, like the wind. He shinned down the beanstalk, balancing the basket. His unhappy mother was still waiting in the garden, certain that he had come to a miserable end. Oh, joy! Now their troubles were over. They had only to say lay, and the obedient hen produced a golden egg. The cottage glowed with happiness. But Jack couldn't forgive the giant, that murderer and thief. The beanstalk still grew in the cottage garden, for he wouldn't let his mother cut it down. He meant to climb it again, but he didn't tell her that. One day, when his mother was out visiting, Jack took his chance and climbed the beanstalk. He had grown since last time, and he was smartly dressed. He wore his mother's spectacles as well, not wanting to be recognised. When he reached the top, he was very tired indeed, and it seemed a long, long way to the giant's castle. The giant's wife sat outside, plucking a chicken. "Madame," said Jack, bowing low, "I beg you to shelter me for the night, for I have lost my way." "Never!" cried she. "The last time I took pity on a boy, he stole the magic hen, and my husband has blamed me for it ever since." Jack was sorry about this. However, he persuaded her at last, and she took him into the kitchen and fed him. He dawdled there until he heard the giant roar at the castle gate. "Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread." Then the frantic wife hid Jack in the boot cupboard, and the giant came storming into the kitchen. That night, the giant stuffed himself with roast meat, potatoes, and wine. When he was satisfied, he shouted at his wife to bring him his hoards of gold and silver before she went to bed. Jack peeked out through the keyhole. He had never seen so much money. He watched while the giant counted it lovingly into bags and tied it up tight. Then at last, his huge head lolled and he started to snore. Jack crept up to the table. Suddenly, a little dog darted out from under the chair and began to bark. Quick as lightning, he tossed it a scrap of meat from the giant's plate. He grabbed the bags and dashed from the room. He crammed himself and the money through the little window and ran at top speed to the beanstalk and safety. He dropped the bags first, scrambled down. There stood his mother, laughing and clapping her hands, for the garden was covered with gold and silver coins. Now, Jack's mother forbade him to climb the beanstalk. She was sure he would come to grief, and that would be the end of their happiness. But he couldn't forget how the giant had treated his father. He meant to outwit him once more. On Midsummer Day, he got up very early while his mother was still asleep. He dyed his face and hands, chopped off his curls, and dressed in rags. Then he began to climb. The beanstalk seemed taller than ever. The castle seemed even further away. And by the time he reached it, he was exhausted. The giant's wife was sitting outside shelling peas. He begged for a drink. "Not for the crown of England," she cried. "My life has been unbearable since last I took in a stranger, for he stole all my husband's money." But Jack looked so wretched and pleaded so hard that at last she led him into the kitchen. "Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread." "Home already?" cried the terrified wife. "Quick, in here!" She bundled Jack into the copper. It was used for boiling the giant's dirty clothes, so there was plenty of room inside. This time the giant was quite sure that he could smell human blood. He searched the kitchen. He even put his huge hand on the copper. But his wife managed to distract him with his supper. When he had finished, the giant roared for his harp. Jack peeked out under the lid of the copper. He saw the wife bring in the golden instrument before she retired upstairs. "Play," mumbled the giant. At once, the magic harp vibrated with the most thrilling music, with never a touch from the giant. Jack listened enchanted. This was the finest treasure of them all. As soon as the giant started to snore, he slipped out of the copper. He glided to the table and laid his hand on the golden harp. But oh, instantly it wailed, "Master! Master!" Jack was dreadfully frightened, but he meant to keep the harp. He held it tightly and dashed out of the kitchen. He could hear the giant stumbling about. The little window was still unfastened. He crept through and sped away. Jack ran like the wind with the harp crying, "Master! Master!" The shadow of the giant fell over him as he leapt for the beanstalk. He flung himself down from branch to branch, jumping the last distance. He set the harp on the cottage table and shouted at his mother to stay indoors. He snatched the axe he used for chopping firewood. Then he struck again and again at the strong trunk of the beanstalk. He was only just in time. He could see the wicked giant's huge feet fumbling for a foothold. The giant crashed to the ground, and he was so heavy that the fall killed him. Now there was no way of getting anything more from the castle. But Jack had saved the best of his father's treasures, and he reckoned the kindly wife deserved to keep what was left. He told his mother the whole story, and after that, they lived in perfect happiness. Bye for now.
Different hands. And different feet. Look at all the children you can meet. Different eyes. A different nose. Look at all the brightly coloured clothes.
Street after street, mile after mile.
Look at all the different faces with the same smile. Yay! same smile. Weekdays at 9 on CBeebies.
All aboard for a happy birthday from Driver Dan and the Story Train.
Hello, it's birthday time and Birthday Bear is very excited, aren't you, Birthday Bear? Because it's Caden's birthday today, and Caden, you are one. If we have a look behind the ha-hoo, we can see a very sweet picture of you. Your mummy, daddy, nanny and grampy and all of your aunties hope that you have a brilliant first birthday. Ah, Zaid, you are one today, and here you are looking very handsome on your birthday, surrounded by sparkly stars. Your mum, dad, your older brother, your granddad and your grandma all hope you have an excellent day. Ah, Evie, I love this card. What a lovely picture of you. And it comes with loads of love from mummy, daddy and baby. I hope you have a wonderful day, Evie. Scott, you are one today, but where are you hiding? Let's have a look inside the Pinky Ponk. Hey, hey, what a gorgeous picture of you. And your mummy, daddy and all the family hope that you have a really lovely day. Ah, who is this sweet little card for? It's for you, Amelia. And look, Amelia, you are being a pipling on your birthday. I hope you're feeling blue. This card comes with loads of love from your mummy. Happy birthday, Amelia. Oh, now this card is for two very special piplings. Or are they very special people? Yes. Ruby, it's your first birthday and here you are, dressed up as Deli. How lovely. And if we have a look behind Knock Talk, we can see Joby. You're having loads and loads of wonderful birthday fun. This card comes with big love from Mummy, Daddy, your big sister Grace, and TT Mama the dog. Have an excellent birthday together. Ah, Alicia, you are 3 today, and what a pretty picture of you wearing a lovely silver bow in your hair. This card comes with lots of love from your mum, dad, your grandparents and all of your family. Happy birthday, Alicia. Daniel, you are 1 today and Macapaka has bought you some glittery balloons. If we have a look behind Macapaka, we can see a lovely picture of you. And your mummy, your nanny, your granddad, Auntie Zoe and Max and Ruby, the cats, all hope that you have a wonderful birthday. Have a great day, Daniel. Eden, here you are being a birthday princess, but if we have a look underneath here, there you are again, having even more birthday fun. And this card comes with loads of love from Mummy, Daddy, Nonna and Bomper. Have a wonderful birthday. Erin, you are 2 today, and Upsy Daisy thinks that's fantastic. If we have a look behind here, we can see a very sweet picture of you on your birthday. Your mummy, daddy and everyone who knows you are sending you loads and loads of birthday kisses. Aren't you a lucky girl? Oh, look at this lovely card. It's for you, Violet.